All right, cool. We're back. Here we go. Jesus, now I'm sweating like crazy because I hate being like late or things breaking. But yeah, we haven't had a producer in weeks, and so having to juggle this is a lot for just little old me. But anyway, yeah. Vince said he could hear those keys clacking. So this is going to be a really interesting episode of the audio-only podcast. I'm going to have to actually go back and edit the shit out of this one. But anyway, we're back. Let's see here. Vince says best show ever. Thanks. As everybody that was tuned in, ready to go, is now they're just done. They're just done for the night. So we lost all our viewers. Great. It's just going to be Vince, Sam, and us. Like that's what's going to be the whole show.
Like the old times.
Like the old days.
And the long ago, and the way back.
Yeah, so anyway, that's now that my brain is not even thinking about the show right now and is only thinking about the stream and the everything. Jake, why don't you say stuff while I try to get everything back on track?
Why don't I say stuff? Hey, you know what? Today is September the 20th, and that marks the anniversary of the first time they were able to hold the actual Cannes Film Festival. It tried to start in 1939, but some dude in Germany decided that wasn't cool and ruined that for everybody. So today marks the anniversary of that. The news has been kind of wild here lately. You see this new CBS show where they were going to pit activists against one another, and they would have to compete in a reality show setting to determine whose cause would be donated to or get funding or whatever. And it would have 3 judges, and they would judge it based on the social media interaction that mentioned them and the judges. And the world hated that idea. They did not like it. So Julianne Hough had to go post a 4-page Instagram apology for being herself and making the poor choice of deciding to be involved in a reality show where they would pit like causes against one another, like, you know, taking something to do with like ethnic single pregnant people and pitting it against like hungry children and pitting that against like, you know, any other kind of like cause you can think of that's like, oh yeah, that's like really good idea, those people need help. And they're like, but what if those people had to fight against these other people that also need funding?
Against turbo and laser in the atmosphere.
Yeah, just the worst idea ever. And it was Julianne Hough and
underprivileged gladiators.
Priyanka Jonas and Usher. We're going to be the
Usher?
3 hosts. Yeah.
He's just out there going, yeah, and doing a dance
the world
move.
absolutely hated this idea. They're like, well, none of you really matter as far as any of this goes. Y'all are all rich people. Why don't you give some of these people some of your money? And they're like, ah. They totally backed out. And then the world was like, also, screw you, CBS. And CBS was like, ooh, making this a competitive reality show was a bad idea. So now they're like, it's a documentary instead.
Oopsie.
Yeah, so we'll see how that works out. Just the dumbest of ideas. Hey, also talking about Cannes and films and Nazis ruining that. Did you see that recently Europa was donated to the British Film Institute's archives for preservation? They've fully restored the film, and they plan on doing a world premiere of the fully restored film at the 65th BFI Film Festival on the 6th of October.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah, this film was
in 2 weeks.
Recently found in 2019 in like a Berlin archive, having been stolen by the Nazis, presumed destroyed. It's
a very famous story if you've ever looked into it.
Yeah, it was donated to the Femerson estate of the people that directed a husband and wife team, and they recently, just now, donated it to the BFI for forever preservation, and they're actually going to make that movie available to
it found a forever home.
Everybody. Yeah. So its world premiere is on the 6th, and then many other premieres after that, and it will be available for anyone in the world to watch, and that's super cool. Sony announced that they're doing a Twisted Metal live-action TV show. Did you see this dumb nonsense?
Why?
Did you see it?
No, but that
Oh,
just
man.
sounds ridiculous.
It gets worse. So not only did they think that the idea of an arena vehicle battle game is a good idea for a TV show that's supposed to have some sort of story to it.
And all the vehicles are piloted by activists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have to compete. That's the show. But they've cast Anthony Mackie as the main actor, and he plays
Anthony Mackie. He's
yeah.
just trying to find something to that's gonna stick.
He plays a milkman of sorts, and the story of the show
It turns into like the clown.
No, the clown's a completely Sweet Tooth is a completely.
Didn't he drive an ice cream truck?
Yeah,
there wasn't like a milk truck. I don't remember. No.
So the idea is that it's not that he's having to compete and battle the other drivers in an arena, or even whatever loose story they had in the games where they had to blow up monuments to progress to next rounds to earn their wish, like anything their heart desired they were given if they like blew up the Eiffel Tower with their
and then somehow they had to keep doing it again in a sequel.
So in this, the story is that he has to drive across country delivering some item that's in this milk truck.
What's in the box?
And
What's in the box?
He has no memory. So, of course, his name is John Doe, and he has to discover himself as he discovers the country in his quest to deliver what's ever in the van. And they describe it as a high-octane half-hour comedy. Hey, Twisted Metal.
High-octane.
Yeah. So that's going to be a real dumb thing to watch. But it is worth noting it's the second thing from PlayStation Studios, the first of which being the Last of Us TV show that they're going to put on HBO. So they're going to be like, look at this, The Last of Us, something that has a very like big story to it, something that people love, and they're going to instead do the next thing is going to be Twisted Metal. I was just getting tickled by Vince's comment where he said he feels like I'm happy that I finally get to read my 12 pages of notes on air.
It's movie news.
One page.
It's one page,
and kind
just
of
one
part
page.
of the back. Listen, man.
I use a computer.
I mean, there's not enough room on this desk for both of us to have everything.
Not enough room on the desk for both of us.
I tried that.
I have a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor, like way. Actually, I mean, we could give you the tour again. Oh, as I just destroy everything here.
Yeah,
like the tour here is pretty fun. Like
they don't need to be.
They don't need to be on the same screen here. So you got you got all the lights, the camera, the big screen that we could see you, my news feed, and now I've got this over here and all the buttons and crap.
Yeah, there's a 4-foot wide monitor full of notes, and I get like this page. Just let me have this, Vince. But since you showed it on the computer, the next bit of news I had too was the new casting for the Twins sequel.
Yep. And so story goes, I mean, the thing with the Twins sequel is for years, I want to say like back in 2011, Schwarzenegger was like, I would love to do another one with Danny DeVito, and I thought maybe we could get somebody funny like Eddie Murphy, and then we could all three be like related, it'd be great. And then, then actually Eddie Murphy was kind of on board, and he was going to take that role, but something happened.
There's more to it than that even. Ivan Reitman sat down with Eddie Murphy and concocted the sequel. They wrote the script entirely for Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, years later, they were going to go into it. But he said due to the success of Coming to America, Eddie Murphy backed out because he's too busy. So
he's getting so cool again that he won't do triplets.
Yeah, so apparently coming number 2
but
America.
How are you so popular you can't work with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito? That's my deal.
I don't know. I mean
we got some names here.
Eddie Murphy's been gone for a while. He has some ground to cover. Like, do the thing, man.
He's like too busy doing Beverly Hills Cop 4, too busy Coming to America, too busy like resurrecting old Eddie Murphy things when Eddie Murphy was funny.
He's still funny, man. He's funny. But he said he was too busy with the success of Coming to America. So they went with their next choice, someone who Ivan Reitman's always thought is a real funny guy, Tracy Morgan.
And that's loosely attached. I don't think it's confirmed.
No, that's the whole thing. Yeah,
because I read something that they were like they were shopping out Tracy Morgan.
Per Ivan Reitman, he rewrote the entire script for Tracy Morgan after confirmation that Morgan will do the movie.
He wrote the script to include a lot more like scenes like
Yeah, all right. So the whole thing is
that's going to be a lot funnier if you watch the web stream, by the way.
Yeah. The whole thing is now too, though, they don't have any funding yet. He said now is the time that they need to go and find money, and they plan on starting filming in January.
Well,
don't even have a set funding
why
for the movie
doesn't Arnold
yet.
just do that thing? You remember, like, it was a couple years ago where Arnold was like, come hang out with me in my tank. Go to wish.com and then enter the Omaze.
Yeah.
And then hang out with me. We'll smoke cigars and drive tanks over babies and things. And you're like, that sounds cool, Omaze. I'll give you a bunch of money. I don't know how much that raised, but I gave it like $10.
I've wanted to win that so bad. I've sent some friends some Omaze links here recently. And they're like, does anyone ever actually win Omaze? I've never heard of anyone coming forward saying that they won Omaze. It's like, how many contests are there really for you to come forward and say that you won? But the idea of hanging out with Schwarzenegger and getting to shoot rocket launchers and throw grenades and smoke stogies and drive a tank.
Omaze winners, just a quick Google search. Omaze winners 2021. There's the list.
Winners.omaze.com.
Yeah, and there you go. You can check it out.
You can hang out with Mark Hamill. You can hang out with Schwarzenegger. There's usually some pretty cool stuff.
There is some pretty cool stuff.
That looks really cool. Right now they're doing like a $40,000 trip to Japan. That's the kind of thing that
amazing
you and Weebs would be into or whatever. So
me, where's your medallion from last week?
You mean my sick necklace that my homie got me and that you gifted to me from him?
Yeah, that was all very Japanese.
Very One Piece. It
was.
Yeah, it's at home in a safe place.
Well,
it's very rad.
In other comedy classic but sad news, I think everybody's already heard the news because we only do the show once a week and it's scheduled on Mondays live. But some super sad news, the passing of Norm Macdonald happened this past week. You know, Norm Macdonald, one of those people, it's really interesting career, you know, because he was kind of one of the OGs of like, you know, sticking it to the man and not playing by, you know, their rules. And a lot of Norm's classic comedy probably wouldn't land on audiences today, but that dude was hysterical. And like
it does on the two of us, because I mean, how many times have we talked about him on this show, and him being someone that me and you really think is very funny.
He's hilarious. I mean, he got his career, you know, in comedy, breaking out in '93, of course, with SNL, but you know, being buddies with Adam Sandler and getting, you know, cast in like his first big feature role is in Billy Madison. And you know, but Norm was one of these kind of guys that just didn't like being told what to do, and he was that way that his whole career. He was unapologetically Norm, and it took a while. It's kind of like, you know, I don't even want to compare it to like Andy Kaufman-esque, but it's just like doing the shtick that you know is hilarious so long, kind of almost like the Aristocrats joke, where it's not funny to a lot of people, and then the longer you do it, it becomes hilarious. And that was kind of Norm Macdonald's career, you know, and he knew it the whole time. He knew it, how funny he was, and or maybe he didn't. He was just an awesome guy. I don't know.
Well, and he makes other comedians laugh. And that's one of those things where, like, people that are involved in comedy and really understand it think that stuff is funny that the general audience maybe doesn't. And yeah, and he always made comedians laugh, and I was always in there laughing at that kind of stuff.
Well, he was a comedian's comedian, and you know, that's the thing. You know, as a DJ, you know, some of my favorite DJs are DJs. Shout outs to one of them here in Northwest Arkansas, old Roby Flax. This guy, you know, when he goes on, you know, he's always playing great music, but to average Joe that goes, oh, a DJ's on? I don't think I've ever heard of this, and it's kind of weird. But every person that's like into music and DJs is sitting there like going, oh, what? Oh, and like just like loving every bit of it. And that was kind of like Norm Macdonald to the comedy world. And you know, it's sad. I mean, he still had years ahead of him. He had that show everybody's now revisiting on Netflix. You know, he was kind of really just coming back into
the one where the Norm Macdonald show where he had like the big tall desk and that guy co-hosted with him and he just had guests on and made him very uncomfortable.
Yeah, everybody's watching that on Netflix now.
I didn't know it was on Netflix.
It just hit Netflix, so it's it's pretty big. And of course, one of the last big projects that everybody was anticipating was the Orville. We watched the Orville a lot, and he was Yaphet. Yeah, he was. But he finished all of his dialogue for that, so Yaphet in the last season of Orville, Yaphet will be there. He was also in the Mike Tyson Mysteries doing voices for that. And, but it makes me even more excited to see the next season of the Orville, cause it's going to be one of those last performances that you really get to see, from him. And, sad times, pulling out my old DVD copy of Dirty Work and just remembering, just pouring one out.
Yeah, or watching him as the best parts of Billy Madison. Who would steal 30 school lunches?
Oh man, so good. Vince asks, any news about the next Orville season release date? Still, they don't have a date solidified for it. I know that I think Seth MacFarlane is really ready to wash his hands of all of this.
That's a bummer.
Because it became I was reading in interviews that it became such a more daunting production than anything he'd really had ever done before. And even though they said the cast really enjoyed doing it and all this kind of stuff, it was hard and it was difficult. And then Fox, tried to, they canceled it, and then I guess it's Hulu's picking it back up. Or
no, Disney bought Fox and they put it on hold.
They put it on hold, but it's going to be released on Hulu.
So they never canceled it. They just said they put it on hold because they weren't sure what they were going to do with all their FX and Fox and whatever stuff. And then when it did go into production for season 3 and everything like that, COVID hit and they had to stop filming and everything like that. So it was the Disney merger and then COVID both slowed it down. So
the latest hey, it's probably coming is February of 2022. So, that's not that far away,
well, The original Star Trek only had 3 seasons.
It's true. But, Orville, great show. Last performance from Norm Macdonald that we're going to see, in any... And maybe... what would be cool is if, everybody rushed out and wanted to see the Orville to see Norm Macdonald's performance, and it got a lot more new fans, and maybe the show got another season. I don't know. That'd be cool. Because that show's great. Watch it. It's a lot of fun.
It's really good.
The best Star Trek to come out of Star Trek in a while. Let's see what else in the news this week. I don't know if you guys heard about this. I did, and I got really sad. But there are talks of a Lost Boys remake. And, my feelings on this are a little biased because Lost Boys is one of those, if I were to compile a 25 movies that defined me as a human being,
five of them
would be Lost Boys. But the thing about Lost Boys, there is an argument to be made that there are certain horror movies that can have remakes that often outshine the original. A lot of people want to nod to The Thing, or nod to even, I wouldn't say The Fright Night, but that was a competent remake. And there's The Fly was a way better remake than the original, but we're talking 1950s,
going from 40s or 50s to 80s.
That's a little bit different. But the thing with Lost Boys is what made Lost Boys so powerful for a generation and so easy to revisit for new generations is it was a movie about a generation, and the story kind of fell to the sidelines to Joel Schumacher's hypersexualized 80s teenage romp of this gritty Santa Monica.
They hired Tim Capello to play all their parts.
Yes. And it's just a movie that encapsulates a fun time capsule of what it was like, and I mean, and it's exaggerated. It wasn't really like that, but in this very hyper stylized, very nipple forward, mullet filled. Even though we're back to mullets, so maybe it could work. I don't know, but that's what makes Lost Boys good. It's not about these two boys battling their vampire bikers that, capture one of the brothers. I mean, that's like, okay, yeah, that's a story, but it's more than that.
Movie, who cares?
It's whatever. But, it's Kiefer Sutherland. It's the Hames. It's, just this snapshot of a time that is just so Joel Schumacher that you can't. It's kind of like Indiana Jones you can't recast Indiana Jones because Harrison Ford is what makes Indiana Jones.
Except they are with Sophie Waller-Bridge.
I know. Guys.
That's a real thing.
Guys.
That's a real thing.
Guys. Are we this idea bankrupt that people just can't get new ideas off the ground? I mean, you heard from my review last week of the Malignant. That was last week, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's just, I get it. It was a pretty much a movie. It was a remake of Basket Case, is what I said. And while they did an original-ish twist on it, it's just like we're just very void of ideas. I saw a trailer for Finch recently, which is the new Apple TV Plus or Apple Plus, whatever it's called, with Tom Hanks, which is if you were to take, Castaway and then throw it in the world of Boy and His Dog with Don Johnson, then that'd be the movie you're left with, except for without all the weird subterranean like masturbatory cum collectors, which is, have you ever seen this movie? No. It's really weird. Add that to your I've probably never heard of this, but the boom operator said watch it, and so I probably should, and it's a good time. A Boy and His Dog. It's some really interesting early 80s science fiction with a very young Don Johnson and a telepathic dog, and they're in a post-apocalyptic world, and they're looking for people, and then there's a subterranean like society of people that all dress like they're from this weird 1950s but with weird face paint, and turns out that the radiation has made them all, like the twist of the movie, sorry, spoiler alerts guys, is they're all infertile, and so they treat him really 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 nice, and it's essentially it's the death by snoo snoo joke. It's the first movie to really kind of go, oh well, welcome to paradise, we're going to chain you up into this thing and just like milk your dong until you're not going to be able to like have body fluid anymore. And
what is this show?
Dude, it's I'm talking about movies. I'm not making anything up, dude. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that Finch trailer, and I definitely don't know how I feel about this Lost Boys remake. I just, it had 2 sequels that nobody watched.
That's true.
It's just, we went down that road and it didn't work.
You know what though? I do have some news that you will like. Like, what,
is it about Fast and the Furious or something?
Hell yes, it is. No, dude, it's about something you actually will like. Leica Studios announced their next movie, and they have a director for it and everything.
Yeah.
It is Wildwood. It's based on a book that they've had optioned since 2011. They're finally making a movie of it, and the director is Travis Knight, who happens to be the CEO of Leica, but also the man who directed Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, which is so good.
And for
So
the
good.
cinematography, or they have a 6-time Academy Award nominee cinematographer. They have this dude coming in to do the directing, who directed Kubo. He's the CEO of Leica. Everything about it looks super rad. The guy that did the screenplay for it is the guy who wrote the screenplay for Paranorman. So it's going to be,
it is
very much Leica Studios. It's going to be a very Leica
pedigree.
Movie. Yeah, so
and it's gonna be 9 years till they finish it.
Well, it might be a while, but and it's about like some kid who gets kidnapped by like a murder of crows and flown into the forest, and the brother or sibling or whoever has to go find them. So definitely creepy, like a
awesome.
Coraline, Paranorman type stuff going on. So there is that, and I know that you really like Leica Studios. So there you go.
Yeah, I like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's a lost art, and they're one of the few studios that are really knocking it out of the park, and utilizing really interesting modern techniques for doing stop motion. 3D printing has really helped them. When Paranorman came on, they had started doing early 3D printing with making multiple models that could speed up the process. And it's really cool the things that they come up with. If you watch any behind the scenes stuff of Leica Studios, it's just incredible some of the stuff that they do.
Yeah, the Kubo and the 2-string stuff where they're doing like the big
and it's like huge models.
Whatever.
It's not little. They're monstrous size.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool. And if you've not visited any of their films, again, highly recommend. Hey, Knock Solid, thanks for the subscribe. Appreciate that. It is still September, apparently, on Twitch, even though I thought the Twitch was saying that it's almost over. But it is still good to go. You can still get those 20% off subs over on Twitch if you are watching our live stream. For those of you that are listening to the podcast at home with no video, probably wondering what's going on. Who are all these people we're talking to? We could be talking to you. That's the cool thing about the live stream. Every Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, you can get us on Facebook, you can get us on Twitch, you can get us on YouTube, but on Twitch you can actually sub, throw us a little change for all of our hard work that we do week after week, and all these stuff that we buy in the studio and have to pay for somehow.
Vince pointed out too that the founder badges apparently are still available.
What?
So get those.
Only a few of those.
Talking about things like that, catching up comments. Sam said props to Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale for making it impossible to defile the legacy of Back to the Future. That's true. They have it where...
And we've talked about that before.
Yeah, it's in their family wills. Like Bob Gale has it in his family will. That is, they are not allowed to option off Back to the Future and allow for remakes. So Back to the Future should never be sullied. There is actually, however, an official Back to the Future sequel allotted by them in the form of the Telltale games, which is a lot of fun, by the way. So
very, very
definitely
fun.
Recommend that.
And there's a really good Monkey Island Telltale game. And a good Sam and Max Telltale game. Actually, there's a lot of good Telltale games.
Neither of those have anything to do with movies.
Yeah, well, they should.
But
looking at you, like idea void Hollywood studios, just Disney already has Monkey Island and Sam and Max under the Lucasfilm. Just scoop it up. That was Sam and Max TV show that was short-lived. It was really funny.
I think like a Monkey Island movie would be pretty boring because you'd have to watch 12 minutes of Guybrush just standing underwater.
That would be a funny scene, though.
It's just 12 minutes, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's funny, but then it's not funny, and the longer you watch it, it gets funny again, and then you're like, why am I watching this? This isn't funny. But by the end of it, it's really funny.
I think if there were ever to be I don't think a Monkey Island movie would work. I agree. I think a Monkey Island cartoon series could work great.
It's one of those things people would watch it and they're like, oh, it's just like Pirates of the Caribbean, though.
Because Pirates of the Caribbean is just like Monkey Island.
I know, but no one would know that.
The chicken came before the egg in the form of El Pollo Diablo.
Get out of here.
It's Monkey Island 3 joke. Anyway, Pollo Diablo is awesome. Vince says he thinks the same thing with It's a Wonderful Life. They wanted to make a sequel about Zuzu and the families, and the families were like, no. Yeah, there's just some stuff that, needs to stay sacred, and I think that that's important. When we're in a world where the most unique new idea that comes out is Free Guy, we're in trouble. It's just tough. Cop Shop came out last week, and I didn't get a chance to see that. It's just been a really, really busy. And Frank Grillo putting the studios on blast. Did you read about that?
No, I wanted to watch Cop Shop, but I decided to watch
the movie I wanted to watch.
A super weird one.
Damn it. Yeah. I've just been so freaking busy with Nightmare on Block Street. Shameless plug time. Here we go. Nightmare on Block Street, Arkansas's only premier Halloween pop-up bar, October 1st through the 31st in Fayetteville, Arkansas at Pinpoint Fayetteville, located at 23 North Block Street. It is going to be your destination for all things Halloween. 14 themed pinball games, 19 themed cocktails. It's going to be really, really great. And if you are in the Northwest Arkansas area, check it out.
Definitely shameless for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's my show. I can do what I want. I can promote my own crap.
No, you're right.
But and also still tickets on sale for the Conjuring and Other Sins VIP seance shows, which we are doing on Mondays during Nightmare on Block Street. It is a VIP 10-person only hour-long show. The rest of the bar is closed to the public. You have the whole thing to yourself. Very, very cool stuff. And there are still some tickets available. You can get those on nightmareonblockstreet.com or conjuringseance.com. But anyway, Cop Shop. I wanted to check out Cop Shop because I've been reading about it. The trailer looks kind of interesting, but Frank Grillo getting real
You
pissed.
were totally hating on this movie last week.
Well, I didn't know anything about it. I looked at I watched an early cut trailer and it looked stupid. And then I watched a longer extended trailer and it looked fun. And I still hate Gerard Butler. I still hate Gerard Butler.
Whatever.
But the trailer that I saw was all Gerard Butler and Frank Grillo. And the other dude, whose name slips me, I'm like, this guy looks like a lot of fun. Now I want to see the movie because it reminds me of that one movie that I talked about.
The other with hired gun that shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of that movie that I've talked about on the show before with Army Hammer. It was called like Shootout or something like that. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but that was a fun movie as well.
The one that we went and watched, and it was like a storm, and it like flooded the whole theater and all that stuff. That's the one you're talking about, where it took place in like the 70s. It had Brie Larson and all them in that movie.
When they were like making a deal, an arms deal, and it all went bad, and everybody shot everybody, and that was the movie. It was awesome.
It has that dude in all those South African movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is
that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, we saw that.
Look
at that.
But oh yeah, can't wait to see Nightmare on Block Street. It's going to be a good time. Vince says, "Let it go." That Bo dragged the Orville so hard before it came out. It's true.
And someone talked him into it.
It's true. It's true. But see, unlike some people, I'm willing to admit when I was wrong. And then
now we just got to get him to watch Fast and Furious.
I have. You're not changing my mind on those.
We'll see.
I seen them.
We'll see. I remember last week when I said, "Did you see the trailer for Cop Shop?" You're like, "Yeah, I've seen it." But now look at you.
I saw a bad trailer. That's a thing that exists. Bad trailers exist. But anyway, coming out this week in theaters, we don't have a whole lot of new movies coming out. There's everybody's just like waiting for October. You know, we've got a lot of big releases coming out in October. This week, I think probably the biggest release is Dear Evan Hansen. This trailer disturbs me to no end every time I see it because it's like a 38-year-old dude playing a 17-year-old. I don't think he's 38. He just does not look like he's a high school student. And, you know, I know it's a film adaptation of like this Tony and Grammy Award-winning musical, which I already don't like musicals. But you know, and again, here's my ignorance of not being familiar with the source content. But the trailer just looks like this dude who is awkward and has social anxiety has a run-in with another dude who is suicidal, and he steals his note to himself and then kills himself. And then everybody is like, we found this note that was written to you, Mr. Guy. You must have been his best friend. Now we all like you. And he's like, yeah, of course. I don't want to let everybody down. I was totally best friends with the dude who killed himself. And it's like, bro, this is dark. And he's like, becomes like really cool at school and like everybody, and it's like a feel good thing. I don't know. This is weird. I don't know. I need to look at this. How is this a feel good movie? And how do you turn it into a musical? Like, there's so many unanswered questions here. Musicals are weird, and I think this is why I don't like them.
Musicals are weird. I'll give you that one for sure.
But Dina says, as a Broadway fan, I'm so mad at it. His dad produced the movie, and Baby Boy wanted an Oscar. They out certain parts of the source material that made it work on Broadway. Okay, all right. Well, then, you know, maybe I'm not wrong with feeling like this feels uncomfortable, but it feels uncomfortable, and you know, whatever. It's out in theaters. It's coming. It's a musical. You can check it out. You can Dear Evan Hansen this week at the theaters. But yeah, that's about it. Everything else is pretty limited release.
I think even that is a Fathom event type thing. It's not like a big wide release. Or
I think it's getting. I don't think it's getting nationwide, but I think it's getting expanded release.
Because I saw it on the Fathom events list. So
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
But yeah, it's opening in theaters this week. So let's talk a little bit about the movie you saw this week, because I didn't get to see one, and you saw the movie I wanted to see.
Sorry, dude. Someone has to watch the messed up Nicolas Cage movies. So that's what I did. I watched The Prisoners of Ghost, and you can still watch it, dude.
What is it? I want to see it in a theater.
I don't think it's in the theater.
It's not in the theater, so I have to watch it on TV.
Yeah.
What service did you watch it on?
Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Building those Microsoft reward points.
So you just POV'd?
Yeah.
POD'd? Point of viewed it?
No, I watched it. Yeah, VOD'd.
VOD.
Yeah, there it is.
TPB'd?
Yeah.
APB?
You were talking about
EPT?
like original ideas and things like that. We Googled what the hell this movie's supposed to be about, because you watch it and you're just like, what the hell am I watching? What the hell am I watching? What just happened? What the hell did I just watch?
Oh,
and it never, there's no part of this movie that makes any sense. And anytime you're like, okay, I kind of get what they're going for, wrong. It's something different happens, and you're like, I have no clue what's supposed to happen.
I need to see this movie.
And when you search, like, what the hell is this movie about? They're like, oh, it's Animal Farm. Don't know where they got that idea. I don't know who decided that
An adaptation of Animal Farm?
That's what people on the internet say.
Okay.
But no, because there's no part of it that lines up with that whatsoever.
Okay.
It makes no sense, man. Basically, Nicolas Cage is a bank robber, and
he is in every movie.
Yeah, jump to the and he has a partner that snaps or whatever, and it's supposed to be like a big mystery reveal, except they totally line out exactly what happened. They're like, well, hey, you're responsible for the death of these people and this little kid that was just eating bubble gum. And it's like, oh no, his partner just snapped in the first 5 seconds of the movie and clearly killed these people. And then halfway through the movie, it's like, turns out it was his partner that snapped and killed these people at the beginning of the movie. You're like, yeah, I kind of got that. So the whole thing is he's captured, but he's supposed to be some outlaw that no law service can ever get a hold of, and he's invincible and all this. But they capture him, and this dude from all the Rob Zombie movies, he plays Otis in the House of a Thousand Corpses and whatnot. Mm-hmm. He's like this town governor, right? He's the governor of this sukiyaki Western Django town. It's samurai stuff, but it's Western stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's near future stuff.
Yeah.
So they have cars, they have cell phones, but they act like it's Edo Japan mixed with the Wild West. Everyone's in cowboy outfits, and they have 6-shooters, and they have a sheriff of the town with the star on his chest, but they're samurais with swords, but everyone's like filming stuff with their phones. It makes no sense.
Do you remember that movie Boonraku? Did you ever watch that? With Josh Hartnett and Demi Moore.
I remember it was difficult to watch, and I didn't like it.
And Ron Perlman. This, because it's again one of those like sukiyaki Western samurai.
Now, Sukiyaki Western Django is a good ass movie. It's the Tales of the Heike made into a Western, and it's super rad. It's the coolest. Rad. If you've ever played Samurai Western on PlayStation, it's kind of like that, except better. And it's the Tales of the Heike, like real Japanese history / novelization of history, kind of a thing about the Genpei Wars. It's dope. It's super rad. Sukiyaki Western Django is super cool, except for Tarantino was like, I'll produce it, and then he shoved himself in the movie. You're like, get out of my movie, Tarantino.
Yeah.
And then after his like 10 seconds of being a creep with sukiyaki dribbling out of his mouth, it's a really good movie. But this movie, man, they capture him, and then they put him in like a battle royale suit, right? He's like stripped naked and put on the leather, yeah. And everyone in town's like, show me your nutsack. And that's a real thing that people yell at this dude, right?
Yeah. Tanukis.
Yeah, so then Nicolas Cage is just too happy to oblige, and he wears this weird leather suit and then gets convinced to fasten it up. Uh-oh, all the weird bulbs and stuff on the suit turn out they're bombs. Who would have guessed this nonsense? And he has one's on his arms, and 2 on his neck, and 2 on his testicles.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Because it took 2.
Yeah. So they're like, and if you mess up, and we're gonna blow your nuts off, dude. And if you try and hit a lady, it'll blow your arms off, dude. And of course, all those things are gonna happen. You're gonna see it. But so he goes on this journey.
His nuts get blown off,
dude. So they offer him a front wheel drive Celica to go into the desert land.
I like how, I mean, a Celica's a cool car.
It can be, yeah. But they're like, take this front wheel drive Toyota Celica and go into the wasteland and find the governor's niece or granddaughter or whatever she's supposed to be. I think they change what she is 2 seconds in after they say it. I don't remember. It's so weird. And then he just hops on a little girl's bicycle and everyone's like, respect. He's a badass.
And he's pulling a the Goonies.
Yeah, well, because he's given a clock on his arm. It's like Escape from New York mixed with Battle Royale, mixed with Mad Max, mixed with Sukiyaki Western Django.
Sign me up, dude.
And it makes no sense. And the whole thing is this girl is in the ghost land, and it's all these people that are in this town that's been ravaged by nuclear meltdown, and they worship the like mushroom cloud and bombs, but they're so scared that it'll happen again. So 24/7 there's these guys yanking on this clock tower second hand because it has a second hand on
and they
it.
don't want to,
and they don't allow time to progress.
Okay.
Because if they feel like if time progresses, the bomb will go off again and the whole town will have a meltdown or something like that. And there's like samurai and ghost on the bus, and there's a bus for some reason, and Nicholas,
because
it's
any
like,
nuclear wasteland movie has to have a bus.
It's kind of like Silent Hill. It's like Silent Hill. Like
Always.
He drives into the fog, and then his car wrecks, and he has a head injury, and they bring him into the town, and they're like, well, you can't leave the town. You can't leave this area because that's when like
it's Barter Town.
The weird ghost will get you kind of a thing. And he was like, well, I'm going to take the girl. And all these people are wrapped in these like mannequin pieces, and it never explains anything.
Doesn't have to.
Not one part of it makes any sense.
Oh, I love it.
And so eventually he gets his nuts blown off. He gets his arms shattered. I can't ruin this movie. It doesn't make sense. The whole time you're going to be watching it being like, what the fuck did I just see? And it's going to be like that the whole time. And there's parts of it where like the scenes and the cinematography, you're like, that's composed really well. This scene is perfect. Like it would be a perfect still for like the background on a computer or something. And it looks so cool. Or they're in these rooms and there's like vibrant colors and everything is like, hyper stylized.
It sounds like this movie just got produced by the gang behind Meow Wolf and Omega Mart and all this stuff, and that's why I like really want to see it.
It's just the weirdest thing you'll ever see, and at the end of it, you're like, "What just happened? I don't understand it." And all you really need to know is like people get killed. It doesn't matter. The parts get blown off. It doesn't matter.
It's a lot like life,
It's
man.
weird. It's the weirdest thing you'll watch.
It sounds to me just like Animal Farm. I don't know if you ever read Animal Farm.
Yeah.
But
well, and the whole thing is, of course, the governor's corrupt or whatever, and it turns out that he has all these geishas and stuff that he kidnapped his kids or whatever, and he needs to get his comeuppance, and he never really planned on freeing Nick Cage from his bomb suit. Hey, thanks, Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket, thanks for the sub, man.
So, of course, Nicolas Cage has to, like, fight this samurai or something. Watch it and tell me what you think about it, and if you can make a lick of sense out of the whole thing.
I love it. I can't wait.
It's the weirdest.
I can't wait.
It's just the weirdest thing.
Gonzo cinema, man.
Oh, man.
It's one of those things.
Well, it's Nick Cage just being the weirdest Nick Cage that he can be.
Oh, yes.
And the way they advertise the movie on the movie poster is Nick Cage says, "The wildest film I've ever done," quoted Nick Cage. And it's just like,
and that's big words from Nick Cage.
Praise from the SNL Nick Cage impression from
Nick Cage is just he has hit a point in his career where he always needed to be, like
just being the biggest
just
weirdo,
saying yes. Let's do it. I'm Nick Cage. Super cool. Sam asks, is it crazier than Hobo with a Shotgun? Hobo with a Shotgun?
Yeah, because Hobo with a Shotgun kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Has a pretty good soundtrack. I actually did I get to see Hobo with a Shotgun in a theater? I felt like I did. And
it was out in the theaters here, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw it in the theater. And
just think of the weirdest movie that you can think of, or like the craziest cinematic journey that you've ever been on, and be like, is it weirder than that? Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Knock Solid asks if we have reviewed Pig yet. No, we have not reviewed Pig yet. That's another one of those Nick Cage on the lists. Like, I try to reserve a lot of my movie watching for what's in theaters, but with weeks like this, you just don't have a lot of options.
New big releases are coming out where they're not necessarily available in theaters. I mean, look at the Emmys that just came out and everything. Streaming services blew away everything. Everything. What was it? HBO came in like second place.
I wasn't going to talk about the Emmys.
Well,
Netflix took
dude.
number one.
Apple, Netflix, HBO ruled the roost of the whole thing. Streaming was it, and that's gonna be how it is when it comes to Academy Awards.
It's gonna be a weird battle for movies to take back, And speaking of movies coming back, early box office reports of international markets are saying that Dune is doing very well at the box office, so it could mean a good domestic box office here in the States. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so, because I am getting excited about Dune. As Bottle Rocket just goes, Dune! In there.
Yeah, getting that first half watched and then just having to wait 3 years for the second half.
I'm here for it, though. I'm here for it. That, and then Halloween Kills right around the corner. Looking forward to that.
Tickets trailer for it today.
Tickets are now on sale for Bond.
Jamie Lee Curtis being like, "Evil dies now.
You don't know. Don't save him." Bond tickets, early tickets are now going on sale for select showings and select theaters. So they've actually confirmed a date, so you can get that. Vince asks, imagine the Bo's Bites segment for Dune, and it's just gonna be a huge dinner.
Gummy worms.
I'm gonna have. That's actually a pretty. It's just pumpkin spiced gummy worms. I don't know.
Yeah.
The spice.
When I was a kid, my granny would always make me a dirt cake.
It's with the Oreo crumbles on the top.
Yeah, and it has the worms in it. You could do that, but have like a cinnamon sugar pumpkin spice type thing going on, so it looks like they're coming out of the sand.
That would be cool. Sam says he had pretzel bites yesterday at the theater and he was disappointed. I assumed it was at the theater. Depends on the pretzel bites, man. Like sometimes pretzel, like. If we're gonna go do a Bo's Bites segment here, some of the best, if we're talking chocolate covered pretzels, there's the top of the game is gonna be Nestle Flips. They're consistent, they're good, the chocolate's smooth, you got a good salt to chocolate ratio, not a lot of clumping, very good. Milk or dark, your choice, whatever. I like them both. Sometimes I get one of each, put them in the same bag, and you get a little chocolate roulette. You don't know what you're gonna do. That's gonna be your bar. Now, there are some fun ones that come out there. Snack Factory actually produced a gluten-free, and I was really, really skeptical about this, and they were gluten-free mini chocolate-covered pretzels that AMC used to carry for a while, or maybe it was Malco, I can't remember. I think it was AMC, though. And those are really good. Snack Factory can make a pretty tasty chocolate-covered pretzel, but they discontinued those, and I can't find those anywhere. And then Snack Factory also makes dark chocolate-covered pretzel thins. You can get those at Sam's Club. Those are pretty good. And then if you... the Reeses ones, as Bottle Rocket says, are pretty amazing. But that's not chocolate. That's a peanut butter dipped pretzel. That's a whole different ballgame, my man. But if you want to get weird, and you can find them usually at a Walgreens, pretzel M&Ms are actually a pretty good, solid move. If you want to get some of that chocolate with the candy shell. But Nestle Flips, man, that's your bar.
Hey, you see right now they got all that Halloween candy out, and M&M's has the cookies and scream M&M's. It's cookies and cream filled M&M's.
Yeah.
And then Skittles has Skittles roulette.
Oh, and if we're gonna stretch the limits of chocolate covered pretzels, a Take 5 is also a really good choice.
Oh, Take 5 rules.
Take 5 rules. Chocolate covered pretzels with caramel and peanut butter. Like, get out of here, dude. It's so yum.
Reeses.
It used to not be. It was Hershey's. It was Hershey's Take 5, and they couldn't sell it under the Hershey's brand, so they used the Reese's peanut butter formula, and they just said, okay, let's call it Reese's because they got Reese's.
It's the same company, Hershey's.
Yeah, but they've got they got all the different Reese's things now, like the wafer ones and the Nutrageous and the whacked outs that have like goo, like the big cups that are filled with like bottle caps and weird shit. I don't know, it's weird. Dude, they've got the big cups that are filled with all kinds of shenanigans.
They have one that's filled with Reese's Pieces, and it's ball her
and
ass.
One filled with pretzels.
Yeah, that one's good too.
And it's a little too much for me. the chocolate to peanut butter ratio is skewed.
That's why they have the chocolate lovers Reese's and the peanut butter lovers Reese's, and you can get the chocolate lovers Reese's and have minimal peanut butter.
What camp are you in? Actually, the peanut butter, the Reese's Thins aren't too bad either. But the OG cup, is where you go.
I'm about those like holiday ones where
The little small ones?
No, the big thick ones that like the trees and the pumpkins and the snowmen.
Well, because that all originated from the Easter, the Reese's
The
egg.
eggs. Oh, the eggs are good. Oh, screw all that. I know the best ones. The ones that are done like the Cadbury eggs that have the super creamy peanut butter in them. It's like the chocolate egg full of the peanut butter. Those are.
It has nothing. Okay. What? Is that even Reese's?
Yeah, it is. They're amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Vince says he had a whatchamacallit for the first time in years, and it's pretty tight. Yeah, whatchamacallits are good. That is an underrepresented candy bar. You remember the commercial in the like early '90s when whatchamacallit came out, and it was like it was like Schnoogly caramel. Whatchamacallit? How's it go? Wasm do. Whatchamacallit? No, Google it. Dude, Bo knows. Like
Clip that bit.
If it's dumbass, like just something that I saw on TV twice, and has a jingle to it, yeah.
Well, since we're talking Reese's and jingles, you know what? My brother one time made me laugh so hard. I'm pretty sure a shot like water or something out of my nose. He just went, Reese's Puffs, peanut butter chocolate flavor.
Because it's true.
It's so dumb, and it just made me laugh so hard.
Peanut butter chocolate flavor.
Yeah, and the fact that they say it like that and that it's so dumb. And when you watch the commercial, you're like, oh yeah, hip hop guys and Reese's Puffs, whatever. But when you have someone in real life hit you with a Reese's Puffs, peanut butter chocolate flavor, you're like,
while
get
you're
it.
eating them,
Yeah, get it out of here.
coming out of the
That's
nose.
one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam asked if I've ever made a cocktail with candy corn. Not with candy corn, but fun hack about candy corn. If you mix it with dry roasted, lightly salted peanuts, in the bowl, shake it up, and you eat it by the handful. It tastes just like a payday, and it's delicious.
That's true. He's had me try it. It's pretty good.
It works. It's awesome. It's the only way to eat candy corn, because otherwise candy corn's kind of disgusting. But you can make a layered shot with like butter shots. I want to say it's like butter shots, maybe Galliano and something else, and it gets that candy corn gradient. And like this show, it's like we're telling you movies, we're telling you cocktail builds, we're telling you food builds. It's got it all.
Beans and cornbread.
Beans and cornbread. Yeah, just subscribe so you're getting your money's worth here in September. Okay, well, we're almost out of time. We need to talk about the box office roundup for this weekend that just happened, September 17th through the 19th, 2021. Kind of a not surprising lineup. I'm not going to go through all of it. Probably just we'll go quick. The number one movie in America, of course, nobody surprised there. It was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. $21.6 million. Total domestic gross, $176. It has officially crossed over the $300 million mark worldwide, whereas the Jungle Cruise has passed the $200 million mark worldwide. But the number two movie in America was Free Guy, bringing in $5 million in the box office in its sixth week, bringing in $108 million domestically. Dina says she has no commentary on this week's film returns, and if you want to get out there and do box office showdowns with Dina, I'm sure she will throw the link up there where you can compete head to head and get your ass kicked by Dina over there.
There's Vince coming in with our custom rock emote that you can use if you're a subscriber, talking about Jungle Cruise.
But number three was Cry Macho, the movie about the old skeleton in the West.
Get out of here, dude.
Oh, Dina says it's dead. COVID killed it. But you know what is not dead? Hollywood Stock Exchange. You can still play that one. The Drive-in Speakerbox used to have a league on hsx.com. It's a pretty fun little game. Dina, if you've never heard of it, I think that would be a fun substitute for your time that you used to spend on the other one. But you can check that one out at hsx.com.
Bottle Rocket coming in with that rock emote too.
Ooh, 4 rocks. Vince over there with the huge flex. He's got the whole set. He unlocked the coveted Speakerbox emote, the exclusive Drive-in Speakerbox.
And some foreign films.
And some foreign films. But Cry Macho only bringing in $4.5 million at its opening weekend. Number 4, Candyman still out there in the fourth week, holding it down. It brought in $3.5 million in its fourth week with 53 total domestic $1 million at the box office. Just $53.
Yeah.
That's it. But anyway, number 5, Malignant, in its second weekend, dropping quite a bit. But I think as soon as October hits and that's still in theaters, I think we're going to see it. Normally movies will like drop 50% and then another 30% and so on and so forth. I think we're going to see that one kind of pick up because October.
I like to see that Candyman's beating Malignant, though.
Absolutely, because it's a better movie. Malignant's fun. Candyman's just a good movie. It's a very well-made horror movie, and anybody that says not is wrong.
Well, and I wonder how Candyman's doing streaming-wise, because it's available streaming right now, too. You can VOD that.
And it's just worth seeing in the theater, man. Some of these movies are. But Malignant dropping down on the number 5 spot, so only $2.7 million so far, only bringing in 9.8 domestic million dollars. Number 6, Cop Shop, opening up at number 6. Oof.
That one is theater only.
Theater only.
That's a blow.
Yep. So $2.3 million in its opening weekend, only at 3,000 theaters nationwide. So, it's not in every theater, but it's in a lot of them.
To be fair on that one, though, I only knew about it a week or two ago.
Yeah, they did almost no promotion.
Advertising for that at all.
It's just theater
Cry Macho
filler.
has the benefit that it is Clint Eastwood, and you put Clint Eastwood out there, people are like, oh, Clint Eastwood, I'll watch it. Cop Shop, literally no advertising whatsoever, and except for like the last 2 weeks. So.
Yep, there you go. Anyway, number 7, Jungle Cruise. Number 8, Paw Patrol. 9 was Don't Breathe 2. And then 10 was The Eyes of Tammy Faye in 450 theaters nationwide from Searchlight Pictures, bringing in $652,000 at the box office. So...
Look at this. Vince said if you're in chat for a while, you can use your
over on Twitch
channel points and modify an emote. And he put sunglasses on the rock.
What?
How cool is that?
What? Look at that. We got to deal with it. So if you're over there on Twitch, you're subbing, you can rack up speaker points over there at the bottom. It's a lot of fun. And you can join in next week. Thanks to everybody that has subbed tonight, and thanks for everybody that continues to catch us. Please share the word. We are getting into October, which means the set's going to get a little bit spookier, and we're gonna have some October fun. Thinking about having some guests on the show in this month of October to talk about horror films and all kinds of fun stuff. So stick around for that. Like, share, subscribe, do the thing. Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. So, do you got any other last minute little sneak ins there?
I don't know. I kind of covered it all.
All right.
Just if you can figure out Ghost the prisoners in the Ghost Land, let me know.
Yeah, send him an email.
I need the help.
Well, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. I am always your host, Bo, the Boom Operator.
I'm Jake the Grit.
And we will see you guys next week on Drive-in Speakerbox.